إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن محمدا عبده وحبيبه ورسوله. My dear brothers and respected sisters, I greet you all with a greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All praise is due to Allah. We bear witness and we testify that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we bear witness and we testify that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his messenger and his slave. All salawats and salams be upon our Prophet, upon his noble families, righteous companions, and all those who follow his path till Allah's time. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, first of all, I just want to apologize for being late. There was a lot of traffic on the way. And number two, I wasn't feeling the best today. I just lost a bit of my voice, as you can see. Inshallah, briefly, we'll talk a little bit about three kinds of believers in Islam. The only way we can be tested in Islam, and we will know what kind of believers we are when we are tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And some people, or Muslims, only remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when something hits them very hard. If something's small, they still don't remember Allah. So Allah has to test them with something very, very big in order for them to think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is mentioned in Surah Yusuf. You know, when some people were riding that boat, and you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that He's able to make those people, walk on land and also ride all those ships and whatnot. They were all nice and good. When they saw that those waves were coming, when they saw that there's no other way to go, they turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah recorded this in the Quran, and He said, دَعُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. And they turned to Allah, making dua sincerely, but only when they saw that the waves were coming and their ship was about to sink. That's when they realized their reality, and they turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like sincerely. And you know what they said? لَإِنْ أَنْجَيْتَنَا مِنْ هَذِهِ لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ. Oh Allah, if you help us escape, overcome this trial that is in front of us, we will be among of those who are thankful to you. But how long do you think that lasts? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains, and He says, فَلَمَّا أَنْجَاهُمْ إِذَا هُمْ يَبْغُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ. But when He saves them, when Allah saved them from that trial, from that difficulty, from that problem, and once they commit injustice upon the earth without right. SubhanAllah. So Allah is saving them, Allah is helping them. So this group of Muslims, what they do is, they don't think of Allah only when something hits them hard, when they face a calamity. And they always say, oh Allah, if you help us. And we see a lot of people like that. If Allah helps me with this, I'm going to stop doing this, and I'm going to do more salah, I'm going to pray more, I'm going to do this. As soon as Allah relieves them from that calamity, they go back to their own old ways. SubhanAllah. And we have to be very, very careful, my dear brothers and sisters, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with everything that He tests us with, He tests us so we can get closer to Him. And how many people have found Allah through calamities? Allah has tested them with sickness. Allah has tested them to lose the loved ones. Allah has tested them with something. And they say, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be this close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But others, what they do is, when we see them the way that they pray to Allah during that calamity, during that problem, we will say, MashaAllah, these are the best believers. But as soon as Allah lifts that calamity, lifts that problem, wallahi, they're completely different people. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from those kinds of Muslims and protect our hearts. There's another group with your brothers and sisters. It's pretty much the opposite. They only thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they are blessed with plenty of happiness, and when everything is smooth, everything is going well, mashallah. And may Allah protect us, majority of Muslims are in this group. When everything is okay in the family, financially you're secure, no issues in the family, mashallah, they pray this and that. As soon as Allah tests them with something, you see the other side of these people. They say, why me? I was praying all day. I was fasting. So they go that far that they question the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But as soon as everything is smooth, mashallah, these guys, when you talk to them, they're all good. But when something Allah is testing them with, you see that faith, that iman wasn't 100%. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test every single one of us. Because it's easy to say, I'm a Muslim. It's easy to say, I'm a believer. I'm a mu'min. It's easy to say, but when we are tested, and then we can easily tell who is a true believer and who is not. Allah told us, and He said, don't think that you only said you're Muslims, and we are not going to test you. Allah is going to test every single one of us. So we don't want to be from neither of these groups, only to remember Allah when something strikes us, or only to thank Allah when everything goes smooth. But if something is on the way, a trial, a calamity, we start to question Allah's qadr. We say, why me? My neighbor, he drinks. My other neighbor, he does this, but I'm the one doing good things. We don't want to be from this group either. We want to be like our Prophet ﷺ explained the affair of a believer. A true believer in Islam is summarized in this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He says, how wonderful is the affair of the believer. For his affairs are all good, and this applies to no one but a true believer. Who is that believer? If something good happens to him, he is thankful for it, and that is good for him. And if something bad happens to him, he bears it with patience, and that is good for him. This is how we should be, my dear brothers and sisters. Not only to be believers when everything is okay, and not only to remember Allah when something happens to us, and as soon as things go back to normal, like we don't think of Allah ever again. No, be among those people that remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah shall remember every single one of you. Allah said in the Quran, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ, remember me and I shall remember you. And our Prophet ﷺ mentioned many hadiths that we should remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only in difficult times, but whether it's good situation or bad, our tongue is always trained to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when anything, calamity hits us, even if we forget to mention Allah, we are under His care, we are under His mercy, under His rahmah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of us. So these are the true believers in Islam, my dear brothers and sisters. Islam is not just about coming and praying when it's everything good, or not just to remember Allah, when there's a funeral and you see some people, saying things and doing things. No. And I just want to mention this scholar, I think I mentioned this story before, it's a very short one anyway. You know, when a guy was about to pass away, and his friends and family members were in the same room, and the Imam was as well, you know, reading some Quran for him. And then the friends were talking among each other, and they were saying, if this was your last moment, your last hour, your last day, what would you do? If this was your last day, what would you do? Every single one of us saying, I will spend more time with my family, I will do more salah, I will do more repentance, I will go, you know, ask people for forgiveness, I will do this. So everyone is saying different things. And in the end they asked this Imam, this wise person, not necessarily the Imam, what about you? You're not saying anything. What would you do? He said, if this was my last hour, my last day, I wouldn't change one thing. Because for me, last day is every day. And I treat every day to be my last day. Every hour to be my last hour. Not only that day, and then how about for all those years that you lived? You think only that day is important, only that hour is important. No, he said, I wouldn't change one single thing. What I was doing till today, every day, I would have continued to do the same thing. And this is how the believer should be, my dear brothers and sisters. Always to remember Allah. Always to be prepared for, you know, to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not just if something strikes them. It's not just what if this, I get sick, what happens? No. The future we don't know. But it's important to be ready. Don't think that we're going to live till tomorrow. Don't think that you're going to reach another month. Don't think that you're going to reach another Ramadan, another Eid. We don't know whether we're going home today or not. So treat every day to be your last day. Every hour, every salah, every Jum'ah to be your last Jum'ah. Wallahi, we've seen in this mosque, people were here last Jum'ah, they're not this Jum'ah. You understand? We don't know. We don't know our time. We don't know the place, where or when we're going to die. The question is, are we prepared for that moment? I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those that we always remember Him, whether we are in good state or in a state of calamity, Ya Rabbal Alameen. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those that He's pleased with us in this world and the next, Ya Rabbal Alameen. To make us of those that everything that we do in this dunya, we do it only to seek His pleasure, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Oh Allah, make us of those that we love, we respect one another only for Your sake, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Make us of those that we feed ourselves and our families with halal, and we stay away from haram, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Make us of those that we will always do good things until our last moment, Ya Rabbal Alameen. And make or the last words to come out from our mouth to be La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, Ya Rabbal Alameen. وَقُولُوا قَوْلِ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ فَاسْتَغْفِرُوا سَيَسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ.